Hi and welcome to How to Use CAD. Today we're going to create a details section for eccentrically loaded foundations. If you don't know anything about eccentric footings or eccentric foundations, then sit back and get a sound grasp of the details, as you will most certainly need them if you ever create plans for a house extension. Eccentric foundations have become increasingly popular over the past decade or so, and that's mainly because of the party wall legislation. When you build an extension on the back of your house, let's assume it's full width. What we used to do was trench foundations, say for a regular extension, which basically you dig down and place your wall on the center of the foundations, and that was right up to the boundary. So if I can give you an indication here, looking at this detailed section for trench foundations, let's assume that this was the boundary line between your neighbor, two houses. So if we can consider that, now what happens is if you're building an extension on this house, then obviously you're going to build all of the wall on your side. But in reality, in order to build the wall, like so, the foundations had to go into your neighbor's property. So you were in fact encroaching. Even though it's under the ground, you're still encroaching. If the neighbors wanted to build their own extension and with the wall on their land, then there'd be a problem because you've already put concrete in there. So they'd need to chop yours, which would probably have a problem. You're going to give you a problem, and again, they wouldn't be able to put theirs right up to your wall because their foundations wouldn't be quite right. Excuse me. So what we have is we have such a thing as eccentric foundations, which is basically this is a little photo from it's a PDF which I took a little photo of. Eccentrically loaded foundations are basically done where the party wall is, let's assume the party wall is, the line isn't quite right, but it's effectively, I'll move the photo, it might be easier, yeah. Eccentrically loaded foundations are used where, under the party wall legislation, you're not going to put foundations into the neighbour's property to hold your wall. So you're building up to the party wall line, or the boundary line, which is here. That's your wall there, but as you can see, your foundations are also on your land or within your space. So they're a little bit special because they need to be a little bit wider and they need a little bit of steel reinforcement on them. But they're very important because because of the party wall legislation, more and more people are starting to use their own surveyor, and in other words, you end up having two surveyors organising the party wall award, and in that case then it's becoming increasingly popular that eccentrically loaded foundations are used within the party wall agreement to stop the encroachment. So today we're going to do a detailed section effectively on this diagram here. So we're going to build something a little bit similar. Now, I've done the editorial already because that takes a bit of time, but I haven't done any drawing whatsoever, so you're going to have to work with me on creating the various segments of this detailed section. So let's get to work. Let's start off with the actual foundation, which is effectively, like I say here, the minimum can be 1000 to 1700 in depth, but it's 600 wide. So let's do a foundation. Tab 1, 2, 3, tab 600, As usual, I've done it the other way around. Right, so if we look at this as the foundation block, perhaps just kick that back a bit. Do it up here so that we can don't have to keep going back and forth. Right, so if I find a fill for here, we're going to do foundations. Yeah, so concrete. Perfect. Right, so that's the concrete done. Now here, need a minimum of 150. 150 above the DPC, etc., etc. So I'm not sure this is done very well, this diagram, but let's deal with it. So if that's your foundations, then let's do another section for rubble and hardcore. So we can do, I just grab a line, getting old, grab the wrong one. Right, tab, we're going to do about 200, tab 500. Now I've done it the other way around. You can tell it's early in the morning, I'm not long up, so I haven't quite woken up yet. Right, so let me tag this. Can I tag this to the center? No. Now, see, this isn't actually done very well, because you can see the insulation. Well, the insulation should never come below the DPC. So whoever done this is, you know, not as clued up as perhaps they should be. So this is more like it. So I'm going to grab the elements within this drawing. And pop them over here. Get rid of these bits. Right. So what I'm going to do here is do what I normally do, which is to separate. That's not quite right here, is it? Let me just see. Are they all out of alignment? Yes. So it's the what I was actually saying was that I generally don't make everything too tight. I don't pack it down. For example, join the walls to the foundations. I allow a little bit of visual space. It's like an exploded view. Right, so this is DPC, and just checking on that it was DPC at that point. Yeah, DPC, concrete lapped, etc., etc. Going to be an interesting one. So we're going to do that on both sides. So what they don't do is they don't do it all the way across. So they do a strip on each layer of block work. Let's tidy this up as well. Detail, detail, detail. Yes. Right. Yeah, detailed sections, really important you learn how to do them and have a good understanding of them, because if you're you know, having a career in architectural services, you will most certainly have to create them over and over, and it's great if once you've done a detailed section, then you don't need to do it anymore. But in the beginning, you know, the first 10 years of your career, you're going to be doing different ones all the time. So until you collect a library of them. Now, why wouldn't that move? Don't get that. Certainly don't want to move that. How about deleting it? And deleting it and getting another one here. I'm looking to see which type this is. It doesn't want to go. Aha, they're bonded to each other. That's fine by me. Okay, so here we have concrete mix, 600 wide. I'm going to put some numbers and measurements in a minute, and then the depth can range from 1000 to 1700 depending on soil conditions and building control. So now we've got well, let's just say 200 of rubble, which is going to go here. So we'll do a little section for that. I could take one section from here, which might speed things up a bit. But that's already exploded, so I don't want to do that. I'd rather do a new one. Right. So a new one, we're going to do that. This is for rubble. Not Barney rubble, just plain rubble. Hardcore, that's what we call it. So we're going to use this one, and I think it's about 5 if I remember correctly, to get the right scale. Yeah. Okay, so again, this sits on top. There you go. And on top of that, it's generally a layer of sand, because the rubble gets blinded with sand. But then, see if I can grab that. That's the DPC or not. It's a damp-proof membrane. It's one. It's basically wondering why that should be there. The damp-proof membrane is there above. Yeah, I get it. That's fine. So yes, we want these two elements, and I'll explain it as we do it. So what's the depth of that? We make that 600, and when I put this down, we make this 600 as well, so that we're all pretty much even. Picked up something I didn't need. In fact, I've lost my DPC, haven't I? Yeah, that's what I thought. We harvest bits and pieces from other detailed sections. Now, I didn't make the detailed section here on the left, so it's done slightly different towards how I would make. So sometimes I get a little bit surprised as to the component parts and how they're being done. But that's fine. No two designers are the same. So this one has also been sandwiched, which is not something I would generally do. Control C. Yeah, I get it. That explains loads. Right. So on this one, we want to make it 600. It's far better to explode these elements, and then you have a clear idea as to where they are, rather than compacting them down. So I wouldn't compact everything down the way they've done it on that one, because you're not quite sure. I mean, maybe you don't see this black bit here. Yeah. So right above, what have we got here? We've got that's a slab of concrete, about 100. So let's see what it says. Yeah, concrete slab 100. So now let's do another box, and we're going to fill it with concrete. Tab 6, tab 1, and we're going to fill this one down here. I think it comes up absolutely no change here. Right, so I can go to the left, but there you go, there's your concrete. This one seems to be a mite short here. Right, this one's a bit too long. Oh, I get it, because this one moved in. Yes. Fine. Okay, we'll play the hard way. Yes. And then what was after that? Had a DPC, and again, so now it's just a normal floor on that. So again, it's a vapor control layer over and under the insulation. So if we can grab some of that, let's see if this is exploded. Yeah, it's exploded, which makes life a little bit more difficult, but not impossible. See if this one is exploded. Nope, doesn't appear to be. So let's cannibalize that. So what we're going to have to do is, because it's been exploded, I won't be able to shrink it up or down, so we're going to have to capture a section, and we want the insulation above and below. Control C. Let's have a look here. Control C. Need to explode this a bit. Okay, I understand it. Right, so we want a 600 piece of this. So probably the best way to do this is get to modify. Draw a box, 600, tab 600. And then use the modify to just cut everything off. Right. Object trim. Sure what happened there. Do it again. Modify object trim. It seems to be, I'm not sure if that's correct, that one. So Some of it is elliptical and some of it is lines. So, okay, I think that's all we need. And the background, so I can get rid of that. And the background can be shrunk down to almost to here. Come on, people are watching me, so sometimes I have to put a line across it or turn off snaps. I'm using the edit tool rather than the line tool. I'm sure everyone watches me has the same problem occasionally, as in sometimes getting elements to snap, they just are or not snap, as the matter may be. So turning off snaps is always a useful strategy. Right, so now we've got our insulation, and I'm sorry I dragged that out a bit, but we're building up our layers. Right, so vapor control layer. So effectively what it is the insulation gets sandwiched, gets like wrapped around with the vapor barrier. Now generally it's a concrete screed on that. So let's see what they've got here. Yeah, and we mustn't forget this little element here. That's very important. That's to make sure that you don't have a void, meaning insulation loss, which often happens at the edges of. So that's an essential little piece here, or you're going to have heat loss on that area going into the brick or going into the block. So it's important that you just do exactly as it is here. So we can grab this polyline, just make it 600, copy and paste, and it becomes 600. And when it comes to screed, which this is, it can vary, meaning let's see, are we showing a fill on here or not? No. So the fill, let me get this right now. Again, as I say, I'm not the one doing the fill. Just curious on here. Yeah. So I would say I grabbed the wrong element there. Yeah, they seem to have done it the way they've done it. They've done it, done a box and then done a fill and then put the fill in the box rather than putting a line around the actual fill. And you know, in other words, do it in one hit. Right, 600. There you go. Different designers working differently. Now this one will in fact be a little shorter. And let me get a look at this insulation here. So yeah, it's like a barrier insulation, but very important. Again, it's important that I illustrate it correctly. A lot of the builders, they don't even know about that, and as a result your build is compromised before you do anything. Right, so that's a finished floor. And where the finished concrete floor abuts or meets up to the wall, should always be a little bit of insulation here, and basically the skirting goes on top of that. So you'll see what I mean. I'll pull the bit of skirting. See, that's your bit of skirting, which doesn't go directly on the block. Control C. It doesn't go directly on the block. Yeah, this is in the, we need to make a mirror image of this. So you're learning loads of tools here. Get rid of this bit of rubbish. And very short skirting, but it does fine to illustrate. And what hasn't been illustrated is the rendering down the side here, or the plastering. So let's see if we've got anything to do that. Not on this one, but they've done a little line. I think the line will do the job on this section. If I stop it off at the same height, then I think it will look a little bit better. So these things, these detailed sections, they do take a bit of time, and I think the reality is, if, for example, you did a lot of extensions, then this is a detailed section you're going to use over and over, and because of that, it's worth taking an extra half an hour to getting it right and getting it neat, because you're going to be using it for years and years. If you're having a career in architectural services, you're most certainly going to be using it. So it's worth taking the time to get the little details right. Okay, so what have we got in here? This is outside, and this is the earth outside. Are we going to do that on the other side? No, we're not going to do that. We don't need to do that. Right, so let's start looking at the information now. So the information is in 3 groups. So it's a question of how we link it all up. As in, just move that over there. New ground floor slab details. Right. So I'm of the view that this is going to be about here. Let's see what it says. Concrete slab, thick sand wall, compacted hard. Right. One layer. Mentioning the insulation there. Which one is mentioning the insulation? Cavity wall. Yeah, no, I think we're going to be needing some of this information here. And of course we're going to be needing this. Wow, there's going to be a fair bit of info here. So maybe it's best if this was done as an editorial section on the side or down here, rather than in bits and pieces. I think we're going to do that. In order to do that, then we would do better to have a multi-text box, and probably make it about that wide. And copy in these details. So actually I just realized, let's see, this is multi-text or editorial. It's editorial. So I'm going to use well, let's see, what's the best way of doing this. Okay, new multi-text box. I'm going to have to go back and forth here. It's been mass concrete. Right, so Segi or Sego, call it what you want, and this is 40. Right, so we can get rid of the pieces as we get through it. I think that description might be useful to have as well at the top. New foundation details. And then, so you can see, dealing with the multi-text, I find it cumbersome, but it's okay. It's great because it allows you to it allows you to get large blocks of text copy and pasted in. But I find it a little cumbersome. I'm sure that there's reasons why they haven't made this easier. Just say to copy and paste from an external document right onto the worksheet, but they haven't actually done that. And I'm sure they have their reasons for it. And because it's such a good, I'm using TurboCAD, by the way, because it's such a good piece of software, I will accept their judgment that there's obviously reasons why they haven't done anything better. Right. Ground level. So, building contracted, no, yeah, okay. These were done in just text rather than multi-text, so I put a dot in there. It's been wrapped artificially. And the last piece, the pie or the puzzle. So as I said, this detailed section, I knew it was going to take a bit of time because it's an oddity. It's not kind of standard. This is an absolute oddity. It's one of, and I didn't prepare all the elements before I started to turn it into a shorter video. Sometimes you've got to suffer it to appreciate that actually these things do take time. And right, so this information is going to be in shortly. I've got the last one, or that's the last one on that. So now it's a question of this bit as well. So I've got two more groups of text to get in, and we're going to be grouping it about here. Yeah, that'll work. And then we do a little bit of description, the descriptive bits like here and there and there, loads of it. We'll build that in as well. But let's get this main bit in. So we're creating a new multi-text block now again. And as usual, I've done it the wrong way around, so I need to capture this information first, then set this up, Times New Roman, Segoe, and 40. Right. So knock off the bits as we do them. I think some of these moves could be shortened. I mean, the fact that in order to get out of cavity wall I have to go back up and use the select tool before, I think that if I click on another element it should automatically kick out there. Wall starters. Yeah, I'm sure you probably don't even know what a wall starter is, but I'll explain it at some point. In fact, explain it now. Wall starter is when you're building a new wall and you want to abut or join it up to an existing wall. So you, instead of drilling out holes and trying to get the brick to overlap and so on, you use a wall starter kit. They're about £10, it's not rocket science. It's very simple. Screw them to the wall and then join the bits. So I can hear someone's getting a delivery of something next door, or a few doors up. They don't know I'm doing a video for YouTube, do they? So I don't edit out all the bits here. I don't edit out the rubbish. So when I do these detailed sections or editorials or videos, so I'm talking now. I need to redo that one. Yeah, didn't do that right. Yeah, I don't edit out all the mistakes and the errors and so on and so forth, because that would be silly, because if you're doing it yourself, you're going to take 3 steps forward and 1 step back, so it's perfectly normal. That's why I leave all the mistakes in. Right, so now we're on the last section, so you bear with me, and it might get interesting in about 2 minutes from now. When we start doing the other little bits of editorial. Yeah, this is what I mean now. I've got to go to select. I can't pick up anything else and pop it in. See, I've got the multi-tool text box open. I should be able to go grab another piece of text and throw it in. So I'm just having a little whinge at the software developers. So if you're watching this, which I doubt you will be, this is normal text. See, it's a pain in the bum. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe this is multi-text. I'd imagine. So now, can I grab another bit multi-text? No, I've got to get out of this one and then grab it again. Yeah, as I said, nothing, let's just say cumbersome. Oh, that's something else. Yeah, it doesn't allow you to copy. I can't copy this out. So if I wanted to take this and paste it into another document, it won't allow me to do that. I've tried it, and I'm going to try it now again here for you. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all the lesson or the tutorial is based around a detailed section. But now let's see if I can edit. See, it doesn't allow me to copy. It doesn't offer up the copy the copy tool. What that means effectively is you have to write it out again. Just stupid that you can't take a copy of that. If I wanted to put it elsewhere or to duplicate, I can copy the whole thing, but I can't take it out of the software. So I've got to write it in instead. So this is what life is like in TurboCAD, and I've got lots of praise for TurboCAD, but not on this text issue. Right. So write it in 150 millimeter. Eccentric, CED, reinforced CAB, reinforced A252, MESH mesh, that an N, H mesh, N top, DHROUT, 35 mil, BER cover to TOP. So basically what they're saying in that, and it's, you know, it's not as fluid as I would like it to be. What they're saying is that you put a bit of concrete mesh in the concrete, and you should have it about 35 mil from the top. That's my understanding of that. Okay, we've done the second section. We check all this now. New cavity wall details. Let's zoom over here. New cavity wall details. New foundation details. New slab details. Yeah, get it, yeah. So, just made a little hiccup here, which is I need to put a space there so I know what I'm doing. Just check again. New ground floor, DPM, yeah, okay. Sorry. There we are. Working with text in TurboCAD. That's what we're doing. Put a little dot in, put a full stop. Okay. Yeah, I prefer just regular text. That's what I do. In fact, it took me quite a while to learn about the multi-text. I didn't need it at first, so you know, you learn how to put in a little bit of text, and then you yeah, it's good enough for now. I'll move on, learn about other tools, but eventually you have to learn about the multi-text. Right, we're nearly there. And then we lay it out as well as we can. And the last one. Yeah, so again, a good learning curve if you're, if you're learning the software. It's a good learning curve because this is exactly the kind of experience you want, or the practice you want. Just putting text and stuff into your drawings in itself is. There's a good lesson in that. Right, so I've got what I want. It's in 3 sections. This one seems to be a wider gap, so perhaps close up this gap just one. one little bit. Oh, I did it as a separate one, whereas this is done in two. That's fine, that'll still work. So now what we want to do is, I think we're going to need to make a copy of this. Start setting it out in the box. So to do that, I just get rid of everything here. In fact, I'll put it up there rather than deleting it. So these two elements and the box remain the same. So now, that's good, that's gone. Now, so the question now is, do I need to make my foundation smaller? The answer to that is, let's have a look. The answer to that is yes, it doesn't need to be as big as it is. Right. So now we get our multi-text. Just want to line these up. They're lined up. Easy way to find out. Yeah, they're not lined up. Okay, that's bang on. This one isn't. Spacing here is fine. Right. Oops. It was showing a line. That's why I thought I was deleting a line. Now, so on these elements, can I capture any of that? Sure I can. Just put them in on this side. That'll work. Little black dot here waiting to be told what to do. Please, sir, tell me what to do, sir. Do all this in one hit. I can go here. And that one goes at the bottom. Change that to one, to be, it's multi-line again. To be 1 meter, 1700 deep. Right. Looking good, looking very well. Now, we've got those three in. What else has got to come in? We're going to be able to do. So we've done that. We've done this one. We get that right now. So it's effectively 3 lots. Which I've done, and now I need to do the top bits. Right. Sorry, I'm adding to my confusion here. Right, that'll be fine. And then the bottom bits. It's because this is arranged slightly different. I think what I should have done was put those. Get rid of that and get rid of those. That's what's throwing me. Put this multi-text. Put both of these text boxes over here. Keep it lined up. That'll make my life easier. Right. So I guess some of you might be fast forwarding here, and that's not the smartest thing to do, but because you kind of need quite a bit of the info. So it's one of those things, you just put it on, let it play in the background, let the video play through in the background, and I think that'll work out. So now got all the text elements in, and now it's a question of putting the lines in. So layout, are we okay on layout? This one can go a little bit higher. What do you think? Giant things up. See where that is. I see that there's a little difference here. I can, on this heading here, so like the one below. Come on then. There we go. And click off, and then just pop that down a bit. There, now you got 3 sections. Needs to go up a touch. Yeah, like I say, these detailed sections, once you've done one, it's going to be around for a while, so perhaps it's easily worth the effort to do them nicely. Right, so now we're going to do lines. So start off over here, depth of the concrete. So what I'm going to do here is draw a line here first, and then take off ortho. Yep. And I think take off snaps as well. So that needs to be there. And then I need another one. This one can have ortho on. Right, so where's my little ball? Control C. Control V. Down here. We said that was redundant. I'll take the line out in a minute. We just do a few more of these balls up here. Right, now lean mix cavity fill 225 below DPC cavity fill. That's your cavity fill here. So I need a line going from there to there. masonry wall that's designed by designer. Again, pretty straightforward. Because the wall could be, could be brick finish outside, could be there's about 10 different ways you could do it. It could be a timber framed wall with insulation on the outside and rendering or cladding. Could be a whole range of things. So here we go. And Celotex insulation. This is this one. I think we go in and up. So I have to remind myself to turn off the notifications before the next video. But wouldn't be any fun then, would it? So yeah, as I say, I mean, if you look at YouTube and you look at, say, you're putting up a detailed section on YouTube, like this particular video, it's going to be up there for many years. So like I say, definitely worth the time and effort to labor and get it looking good. So we're all correct here. We've got 7 more little annotations to build in, and then we'll be fine. So these ones are basically going down. Concrete with light reinforcement, DPC above ground level. DPC above ground level. Were these below first? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just checking out that I get it right. That's the DPC here. Sorry, that's the DPC here. So I'm looking to see whether I'm coming on this side and going out. That being the case, then these should be over here. Yeah. VCL should be laid over and under the insulation, so in reference to that. Yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing now. So again, and I think we can do a line there. Snaps again, snap, snap, snaps. Here we go. I'm attempting to streamline the process. Yeah, patience. It's probably going to end up being a 1-hour video, but that can't be helped. Right, VCL should be laid over and under the insulation. Let's see now. Oh, come on. Turn snaps back on. Thank you. Right, VCL. So we're going, get this right. Going to there. Concrete sand cement screed with light reinforcement. So middle of here, and then DPC above ground level. So I'll put an angle on that. Is that my tummy rumbling? I think it is. Time for breakfast. Right, where are my balls? We have to put a title on here as well. So may well be that we're a little bit cramped after all by the time I put a title up, but we'll work it out. Right, so there you go. Concrete screed and the vapor control and the rubbish. Right, and now it's the last four. Celotex G4 insulation, thick concrete slab, sand blinded hardcore. So again, question is Celotex. Let's see how these were covered on the other one. Yeah, they were covered from the other side. So what we might do is shove this over and go out the back. Go out the back, right? So we need 4. Snaps is on. The thing about going out the back is you don't have to line them up vertically. Right, so the bottom one, sand blinded hardcore. That's easy enough. That's take off snaps. That's here. Damp proof membrane. Go from there. That's your damp proof membrane. Thick concrete slab. Go from here. And your insulation then goes from to there. That's not bad, that's working out. We don't need that one. And turn snaps back on now. And add my balls. Right, first one. Certainly a good detailed section. It's comprehensive. And it really has the detail. Okay, so if I move that just back slightly, then I can put a little tiny line to here. There we go. Now, I need to bring it all down because I need to get a heading in there. And the heading would be something on the lines of I might as well just use this one. Once I find the center here, there we go. Right, and it's called Eccentric Foundations. These are just the decorative bits. Just a little touch more. There you go. Right, eccentric foundations. Bring it down just a little touch. There we go. And what else have we got? Eccentric foundation. So let's do a little check now, because the numbering is possibly all over the place here. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In fact, the numbering is working out fine. So making sure we got all our balls in. Yes. We got the editorial. We've got the additional editorial. That's it. It's a wrap. So, been a bit of a journey, and I'm sorry I've taken you all day. Seems like all day, but yeah, that's a lovely looking detail section, and it's a little bit complicated one. Lots of great info here for whoever ends up using it. So, as with all our detail sections, doing them, and we're doing them with our YouTube folk, and we're using them for lessons and for tutorials. That's great, but what we're also doing is, as we complete the detail sections, we're loading them here on detailsections.co.uk, so you can then buy these in CAD format or PDF, and of course we've got about 1,000 of these to add to the store. At the moment the cupboards are a bit bare, but over time we'll be adding all of our CAD sections, detail sections, to the store. So if ever you need to download, just head on over and you'll be able to get them in PDF or CAD format. Okay, thank you very much for joining what I would consider to be a extra long lesson. Hopefully you've learned quite a bit, and certainly about eccentric foundations. See you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.